This is 7:30 Tea with Ree.
So I'm like, oh my god, I'm literally stranded in a flooding canal.
He's like, oh, I hope you don't mind. I invited my friends.
When he pulls up to pick me up, he's in a weird looking van.
Ree is spilling all the tea. Hello, everybody, and welcome to 7:30 Tea with Ree. I'm back, bitches. No, I'm back though. Today is a tea droplets episode. I was kind of worried because I didn't know, honestly, if I would get enough stories for this because it's so hard to get tea droplet stories from people at the coffee shop. And also, like, one of the Saturdays, they had to call me into work at my other part-time job at the library. So I was like, damn, like, how am I gonna, missing one Saturday, definitely, because I do it every Saturday. And if I'm doing it every Saturday in 1 month, then, like, that's, like, 4 times I get to be at the coffee shop, like, 3 or 4 times. And also, like, February is a short month, so, like, I was worried. But luckily, I was able to get 5 stories, which is what I've been trying to get every time, so I was glad. There were like a few people that sent stuff in from TikTok on my link. Then there was also like a little thing that I did not expect. Someone sent me a love letter, which I was like, oh my god, somebody sent me a love letter? Like, who loves me? Like, you know what I mean? And then one of my friends actually came to visit me at the coffee shop too, to share one of their stories, which I was so glad for, because I was like, oh my god, like, sometimes it really do be dead, like, or sometimes it's not dead, but it's more of just like, it comes and it goes, you know, like, you can't really control the crowd that comes in, especially the day that I went to do it. Like, it was a snow day, so that's why it was kind of like dead. It normally is so packed and busy in there and stuff like that, but I was like, damn, like, who's gonna come in the snow, you know? And then on top of that, it's also just, like I said, it's hard to get people to come up to the microphone and do something spontaneous like that. They just get really intimidated. They think they have to be a certain way, or they have to think of something really good, when it's like, sometimes the story is just right in front of you. You know, like, you could honestly, like, say anything on here, and we could easily sit here and analyze it and make it juicy. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know? Like, I just like to hear a good story. I like to hear something that feels relatable and we can all talk about it. Like, that's okay with me, honestly. But the juicy stuff, I mean, it's just a plus, you know? But yeah, I was just glad I was able to get stories. Also, how are you guys all feeling this week? I couldn't remember if I asked that or not in the beginning. But how are you guys all feeling? How are you guys doing? I know for me, I've been doing really well lately. I've really been, like, focusing on me and my health and all of that stuff. And I've also been career focused, trying to grow my social media still. Like, I'm doing well. I feel like I'm balancing things out, hanging out with friends and family, making time for me. I'm also keeping myself out there in the love category. I've been keeping really open-minded, but also, like, knowing my worth. Like, I've noticed I'm 10 times better with how I've been handling things. Like, I'll give you an example. Someone like asked me on a date or something, like, maybe a few weeks ago, but I really wasn't feeling the energy from him, and I felt like he probably wasn't going to put that much effort, so I legitimately ghosted him instead. I beat him to the punch, basically. And I'm not going to lie, like, I don't know if it sounds like an asshole thing or not that I did that, but it felt really nice. It actually felt really freeing, because normally I feel like I would have pushed for that date, even if I knew someone was giving, like, not the effort that I was looking for. I feel like I would have normally pushed for it because I was, like, excited to go on a date. But for once, I was really just like, you know what, like, I don't need to do this. Like, I would rather have an enjoyable, fun date if I'm going to put myself out there and stuff. So I literally just ghosted him, and it felt really good. Sometimes ghosting is good, sometimes it's not. It really depends on the situation. You know, like, if someone does not deserve to be ghosted, like, don't be ghosting them. But if you feel like someone's, like, low-key just gonna fuck you over, or is an asshole, or is not putting an effort, like, fuck them. You know, you don't owe them shit, honestly. But That's just how I felt. And also, like, you know how they always say, like, when you're genuinely doing well and actually for you and wanting to only accept good things, accept the best for yourself, and know your worth. So I actually did recently kind of start talking to someone, and that's actually going really well. And we actually do have a date planned. And this time, I have no doubts in my mind that it's going to go well. He even made reservations and stuff already, which I actually really liked because men lack that these days, so I was excited. We're going to be going to a paint and sip, so I'm hyped for that, looking forward to that, and like I said, I feel like everything else is going really well in my life. I've honestly been feeling pretty well about how things are going in my life for a bit now. Like, I've been having, like, my small up and down moments of feeling like, are we sure this is going well? Are we sure? Like, is there something I need to work on? Really, I think the only things that I've been worried about lately is just, like, career stuff. Like, wanting to make sure that I'm giving it my all. And lately, I feel like I've been stepping up my game a little bit more, but I just want to step it up even more. You know, I'm always trying to just be better and better at that. And then, you know, health-wise, with, like, going to the gym and stuff like that, I've been keeping up with that. I think I'm actually, like, at a balance for once, which I really like, you know, and I've also been really good with mental health and stuff like that. I've been trying to take more time to romance myself type of thing. Like, when Valentine's Day happened, I was actually really good. Like, I wrote a letter to myself, and I wrote it in the way that I'd want someone to write a letter to me. Like, I wanted to truthfully romance myself. I took myself on a date that day and stuff like that. So I feel like I've been really kind to myself and really, like, actually analyzing everything and keeping myself in check, keeping myself on track, making sure that I don't get sidetracked by things that don't serve me. So for once, I think I feel okay. I think I feel good. I feel healthy. I'm like, oh my God, like, are things going well? Like, but no, truthfully, I feel really, really balanced. And I haven't felt that in a really long time, honestly. Like, I feel like before you experience life in full, like when you're a teenager and before you fall in love, before you do all those things, you're like, you know, just doing your thing. You're really just on your own when you're like a kid. And I feel like when you're an adult and you go through all of those things, you lose who you were. And you also realize that who you were, like, there were parts of you that needed to grow and you didn't realize how to grow or what parts of you needed to grow and stuff like that. So it just feels good to feel like I've kind of found my way back to the true me, but a really improved, grown version of the true me. So I feel really good, as I've said. Anyways, we're going to be getting into our stories, but in case you are new here, I want to fill you in on what this podcast is about in case you're confused. So this podcast is all about spilling tea and sharing your deepest, darkest secrets. So if you have any tea to spill, DM me on Instagram at 730tea with Ree, and you spell that 730TEAWITHRIE. Or you can DM me on my main Instagram account at Rihanna Flores, and you spell that RIEANNAFLORES. And if you wish to be anonymous, please let me know. Your story should be up to 500 words or less. And if you want to send an audio voice message in instead of typing out your story, just please keep it up to 5 minutes max. Thank you. So we are going to get into our first story of the day from our first sipper at the coffee shop. So yeah. Now for this one, they were technically at the coffee shop, but they didn't come up to me, and I have no idea who they are. So yeah, this was a submission story sent in, and this is actually the love letter that was sent in. So I'm going to read the love letter that they wrote to me. Like I said, I've never gotten a love letter before that was anonymous. So this was honestly like the sweetest thing. I was literally gushing about it the entire day when I first read this because I hadn't seen it. I don't know when this was even sent because sometimes I take a bit to check my Google form submissions. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, like who wrote this? Anyways, let me read this. So sipper number 1 says, "This isn't exactly a story, but something I needed to get off my chest. I just wanted to say I am so attracted to you. I saw you at the coffee shop one day and was instantly drawn in. You're so beautiful. The smile, the eyes, the whole package is perfect. So naturally, I started listening to your podcast and got even more hooked. Your personality is so magnetic. I don't know what your dating situation is like these days, but I'm hoping you're available. I'd love to take you out." Whew. Okay, so when I first read this, like I said, I was honestly so shocked and so speechless and so flattered because I was like, this is so romantic. Like, I'm such a hopeless romantic myself. So reading that, it made me feel really good that somebody admired me like that and admired me in that way. You know, I didn't think that people thought that, and that probably sounds silly, but like, you know, sometimes you can't imagine someone having a crush on you the way that you would have a crush on someone. Like, I can't even imagine someone geeking over me like that, you know? So I was just like, oh my God. But I want to say to whoever wrote this, like I said, when the stuff sends in on the Google form submissions, it's anonymous, so I don't see who sends what. It doesn't show me anyone's emails, and it, you know, there's no way of me getting to reach out back. But I really am curious to know who you are, and if you are listening, like really and truly, I want you to not feel shy. Like, you know, come up to me, say hi. I would love to at least say hi and get to know you and know who you are, because I really appreciated this, and I just really want to say thank you so much, because it made me feel so good about myself knowing that I had that effect on you. Like, not only that you felt that my personality was magnetic, but you also enjoyed my episodes and were hooked. So I really think that's so sweet. And yeah, really and truly say hi. I don't know how I would feel in regards to dating, just because I'm kind of taking my time with that and seeing how it goes. So that's kind of what my dating situation is like, is I'm just, you know, taking my time and exploring and going with the flow. And if something comes my way where I feel really amazing about someone, then I will probably just pursue that, you know? But please say hi to me. That was really, really sweet of you. So thank you. Yeah, so we're gonna get into our second story of the day. This one was really funny. This was the one where my friend came into the coffee shop and told this fucking story. So this story is called "He Ran Away from Fetty Wap," and this is the funniest story to me, in my opinion. And like, when you first listen to it, because this was an audio message that they did while they were in the coffee shop, so when you first listen to it, it kind of drags for a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, but like towards the end is when it's like, what the hell, like what? But it is a good story. We're gonna give it a listen. I'm sorry if it's loud in the coffee shop or anything like that, but you know, I tried my best. I had them speak up to the mic and stuff like that, so yeah, we're gonna give it a listen.
Okay, so I have the perfect, like, just fuckboy story. And Rihanna and I, we've been friends for a long time, and I've actually never told her this story. To be honest, I kind of forgot about it until recently. But something really fucked up that happened to me was when I was a sophomore in college. I met this guy off Tinder, and me and my friends, like, we just started using the app that year. Like, we had just heard about it. And so we all were kind of obsessed with it because we could, like, match with people on campus and people, like, around the area we were staying in. And just like from other colleges too. So we were like so into it. We're like, oh, this is the perfect way to meet guys, whatever. So I matched with this guy, and he actually like he played baseball, and I just remember seeing his pictures. I was like, oh, he's cute, right? His name was, we'll do a pseudo name. His name was Yak. His name was Yak. And so I match with Yak, and we start talking, and he seems really nice, and he just like, he wants to hang out and whatever. And I, being the stupid sophomore in college I'm thinking like, oh, this is so romantic. Like, he just wants to see me, whatever. But, because it's Tinder, we don't know anything about these people. We don't know their background, nothing. So we decide to meet up in a space where it'll be comfortable for both of us. So we decide for him to come over to my suite, or like my dorm, but I lived in a suite with 12 girls. It was 6 rooms, two people to a room, 2 huge restrooms, whatever. So it was a suite setup. And so we invite Yak over, and Yak also brings 2 of his friends, so they can mingle with my friends and whatever. And it would just be like a nice setup for us to just all get together. So we go into my room, and we do things. Now, mind you, I was a good girl, so no, we didn't do that, but we did all the other fun things that one could think of. And then everyone, like, when we came out, they were like, ooh, and just like childish things, whatever. So we talk up until from then. I want to say that was like beginning of or end of January, all the way through my birthday. And for my birthday, I actually got I did an Airbnb rental in the city with some of my girlfriends and stuff, and he came one of the nights, and we spent the night there with his friend and my best friend at the time. So they shacked up, and then it was me and him in another room, and they spent the night. But then after he left, everything seemed great. Like, it seemed like, oh, like, maybe this could be like an actual thing, me and him. Like, I didn't know any better. So then after my birthday, I don't really hear from him for like a few weeks, and I'm like, something's got to be wrong. I'm like, maybe it's his phone. I remember him saying like his phone screen was messed up, and then like his whole phone was just kind of malfunctioning. So I was like, it must be his phone, and I just haven't heard from him, and just like complete stupidity on my part. Like, I don't know why. I just didn't think that maybe he just ghosted me. Like, I guess I didn't understand the concept of ghost. So I couldn't wait like another freaking week, and it had been like 2.5 weeks by this point. And I reached out to his friend, who I think we followed each other on Instagram, and I was like, hey, have you seen Yak? I haven't heard from Yak in a while. Like, is he good? And he's like, yeah, he just left mine. We were, they were playing some game on his phone. On his phone. So there wasn't a damn thing wrong with Yak's phone. Yak, I realized, betrayed me. He betrayed me. And, yeah, I just was like, what the hell? So then I texted him, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I haven't heard from you. I thought something was wrong. And like, here I am thinking, like, I guess I'm so innocent and naive to the fact that like maybe he was just a douchebag. I don't know why. And it was sophomore year. Like, I had been through my fair share of douchebags in freshman year. But whatever. Still naive me. So that was after March. And the following month, my college has a spring concert every year. And I think the spring concert that year was Fetty Wap. And he was coming to our school. And so everybody, like people from other colleges and things like that, were coming to our school to see this concert. Like, people were buying tickets. They were like scrappers and whatever they call them. Whatever they call them were, selling these tickets like online and stuff like that to go to this Fetty Wap concert. So I'm with my friends. We're having the best time, whatever. We're in the auditorium where they're hosting this concert, and I'm out in the hallway because I'm waiting for my friend to get out of the restroom. And me and my other girlfriend, we're standing there, and all of a sudden I turn around and I see Yak. Yak is there with his fucking friends, and I'm like to my friend, I'm like, look, I'm like, he's right there. She goes, oh, you should say something to him. She's like, say something. So I'm like, Yak. And he sees me and he's like, oh no, right? He literally turns around and like runs in the other direction. Runs into the other direction. He's like, might as well be sprinting. For all I know, he didn't even make the concert that night. And then I was just like, what? I'm like, this is tomfoolery. This is wild. And my friend is like, no way. She's like, you don't even deserve that. She's like, that's such BS. She's like, that is so scummy, blah, blah, blah. She's like, I can't even believe that. And I'm just like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I was really hurt because I was like, I didn't even do anything to you. I invite you to the gorgeous Airbnb I stayed in. It was like a penthouse in the city with Manhattan skyline. Like, we hung out a few times before that too. And I'm thinking he's going to be my man. He's going to be my boyfriend. No. Fuck Yak. That's all I got to say. The end.
Damn, girl. I felt all of that, girl. I felt all of that. Oh my god, I hate being fucking ghosted. Which is so ironic because I literally in the beginning of this episode was like, yeah, I ghosted someone. But whatever, he fucking deserved it. Like, I think it's only justified when people deserve it. Seriously. And so, this is funny, but also like, oh, like I hate this for you. Oh my god. It is so funny too that you came up with the name Yak, by the way. Like, when we were sitting in the coffee shop, I immediately, I don't know if you can hear it or not in the background, but I was laughing. I was trying hard not to like overpower the audio with my laughter because I just thought it was hilarious that we named him Yak. It's too funny to me. But that is so crazy because like, you invited him to, like, a nice event. It was for your fucking birthday weekend, too, Like, you got the whole nice view in New York City and all that stuff. Like, what the hell? I hate that. That's so rude of him. Like, he could have at least said something, Like, that's where I'm like, okay, if you were gonna ghost someone, please make it be justified. Like, that is so not justified to ghost someone after you were able to stay in someone's nice Airbnb for their birthday and get this nice view and this nice stay and all that for free. Like, who do you think you are? Like, how rude. And then you just don't say anything. Also, that's the naive part is so fucking funny because I think we've all went through this period, like when we first ever experienced being ghosted. Like, I definitely have. I remember the first time I was ever ghosted. I can't remember who it was, honestly, but when I was first experiencing it, I was just like, I'm so confused. Like, what happened to them? Like, are they okay? Like, they must be really busy. Like, I really genuinely I didn't think much into it because I feel like it's not as common as it is now. Or, I mean, it wasn't as common as it is now. Like, back then, I feel like in, like, the mid-2000s, because right now we're in 2024, right? So, I feel like in, like, 2014 era, around then, is when it just didn't feel like it was common. Like, maybe it was always a thing, but it's just not as common as it is now. So when I was first experiencing it, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this person not talking to me? And then I'm like, oh, they don't want to. Like, it sounds like that's exactly what you kind of went through. Because it's the part of us that's like, why would that happen? Like, why would that make sense? Because it is stupid. Like, just say something. If things are going really well and then someone ghosts you, I think it's so rude rather than if things aren't even doing well and then you just ghost them. Like, that makes more sense. Like I said, it just, the math is not mathing, literally. But even funnier that he just, that is so, he ran away from me. He He ran away from Fetty Wap. I can't, like, you guys, it's so stupid. Like, just say something. I mean, at least you tried to talk to him, which, like, I give you credit, because I would, like, once someone does me wrong, I'm done. But, like, also, it is valid, because you were genuinely curious as to, like, why they didn't say anything. But for them to just run away is, like, what the hell? Like, just say something at that point. Like, you're in public. Why are you just gonna run away? That's so embarrassing of you. What? It also just shows that clearly he was lacking a ton of communication skills. Like, I don't know how old he was at the time. I forget from listening, but, like, clearly he has really bad communication skills because he's a ghoster. And then even when you see him in public, then he just runs away. Like, he just seems to avoid communication skills and doesn't want to work on it. I would hope that he changed now, but that is just really crazy that he just ran. I cannot. My overall advice and takeaway from this is, if somebody lacks communication skills and you're noticing it from the very beginning, or at some point you notice it where they're just slacking and they're not keeping themselves in check and making sure that they work on that with you as a team, as, like, a, you know, even if you aren't a couple yet, like, it still matters to try and form good communication skills if you're in the talking stage, because that's how you develop a relationship with someone. Like, that's how you get to the relationship stage. So if someone is lacking that from the very beginning, you know, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. So my biggest takeaway is, if someone is lacking in an area where it's essential for you guys to form a bond, fuck him, you know? Fuck him. You don't need him. So yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for sharing that story, and I hope you are not dealing with ghosting anymore, because these men are crazy out here. But yeah, we are going to get into our next story of the day. We're going to have our next sipper. So this sipper, sipper number 3, sent their story in through the Google Forms again. So I'm going to give that a read. And this one is basically about a guy who kind of did the same ghosting thing, but a little different. This girl actually clapped back on him. And she did it in, like, a really funny way, too. Like, you just have to listen to this. This is the funniest thing ever, in my opinion. So, she wrote in and said, "One time I was talking to a guy. We hit it off so fast and I had a really good feeling about him until he randomly blocked me about a week after we started going out. I asked my friend to add him on Snapchat just to see if his account was working. Delulu, I know. And he responded to her. My friend and I then hatched a plan that involved her continuing to flirt with him over Snapchat for a couple of days. They eventually agreed to a date where they would meet up at a baseball game. My friend lives in a completely different state, but he doesn't know that. She sent me a screenshot of the ticket he bought, and I bought one 3 rows back. What he didn't know is that she had no plans of showing up to this game, but I did. I showed up to the game in a hat and sunglasses, trying to keep a low profile. I watched him come in, sit down, and look around for this girl that was supposed to be meeting him. Once he really started to panic, I called my friend and told her to block him now. And that's when he got up, furious and embarrassed, then stormed away. The disappointment and confusion on his face was worth every minute of scheming. Don't fuck with me. Oh my god, I love this. This is literally one of my favorites because I'm so petty. So, like, to read someone else's version of being petty is so brilliant. So amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. Like, and I will only be petty when someone deserves it. And that man deserved it. Like, who just blocks someone after a week of talking? Like, after it's been going so well? I hate that. Like, when things are going really well and then you just, like, block someone, like, what? That's so rude. I love that you set him up right back and had your friend like practically lure him in. He even paid for those fucking tickets and everything and all of that stuff. Like, he wasted his money and she never showed up and she blocked him and he felt stupid. Like, I love that. I love that because he should feel stupid because he did that to you. Oh my god, this is brilliant. All I know is when you sent this and I read this for the first time, I was like, I'm gonna save this idea. The toxic part of me was like, I'm gonna save this idea in case anybody ever does me wrong like that. I will definitely be using this if somebody does me wrong like that. That is so funny. I love it. I have no advice to give. You were brilliant. You handled this amazingly. Like, I know you probably could have, like, gotten over it, but, like, he deserved that. I don't care. Really and truly, that's brilliant. Anyways, we are gonna go on to the next story of the day. Okay, so sipper number four actually was also a Google Form submission, and this one was a rant that was sent in. So this is, I think, our first rant we've had besides, like, I mean, in the last Tea Droplets, we did have one rant about this generation, but this rant is about car problems, which I thought was really funny and relatable, in my opinion, just because I will never understand my car, you know? So, we're gonna read this right now. So it says, I have a Tea Droplet rant version. Like maybe 2 months ago, my check engine light came on and was flashing and scary and shit and cost me $633 to fix that shit, when the real issue was my car ran out of oil early and there was no way of telling until it was too late. And fast forward to me driving to work last night, and I pull in my lot and just getting ready to read my book and do some pre-shift self-care, and I'm reading and look up from my book, and guess whose fucking check engine light is back on? Eventually, I got my car fixed, and $633 later, the check engine light came back on. But this is the significance of having at least one good mechanic that everyone in your family goes to, because mans took my car and looked at it again and fixed whatever the issue was that he missed the first time, all for free. I was so happy about this, and I actually started heading back to work and everything was fine until 4 a.m. happened and my check engine light is back on. Live, love, fuck check engine lights. Okay, I felt this, girl. Okay. Like I said in the beginning, I'm so bad with anything to do with cars, like car problems. I'm awful. Absolutely awful. I never know what I'm doing. I will probably rarely ever know what I'm doing with car check engine lights, all that shit, whatever you said. I literally don't even know what it is. I had to Google it up and I still don't fully understand. Like, I kind of do and I kind of don't. I just don't get it. Like, I barely even know how to check if my my oil's running low or not. Like, thank God the car tells me. Like, my car tells me when my oil is running low. It will tell me. Thank the Lord, because I wouldn't know where to look. I wouldn't know how often to check. Like, I like to go to my dad for help because I genuinely don't know what I'm doing. So, like, reading this rant, I was like, girl, I felt this. I genuinely felt this because it's just so confusing sometimes. Like, honestly. And I also don't know how, like, guys just get it easily, too. Like, how the fuck did they learn this? When and where did they learn this? It's like instilled in them from young, but not us. Like, I don't know. Unless there are car girlies, which, like, good for you. Teach me, please, because I don't know anything about this stuff. I really don't. But it sucks that you had to spend so much money to fix this shit. $633 is crazy. At least when you got back, like, to the place to make sure that it got fixed again, at least you got it free that time. But it's still frustrating because it's like you want to make sure that you're driving safely and all that stuff, especially if you're going to work and everything. Like, that's so frustrating. And the fact that it's back on again and you have to, like, see what's up now is so frustrating. I just hope that you're able to get it fixed because I just don't want anything to happen to you on the road. Also, guys, I know this girl personally who sent in this rant. I love her. She's the funniest person. And she actually has been telling me about how she's been wanting to get a new car anyway. So, like, you know, it would be so convenient if you were able to get that new car soon. But it's not easy to get a new car, you know, like everyone's got to save up and shit like that. But girl, I hope that you're able to get it soon, because that sounds so frustrating with how like you're dealing with that in the car and shit like that. And then you had to spend that much money. I remember one time I had to spend so much money on a fucking windshield. I didn't know windshields were going to be that expensive to replace if you don't have insurance. Like, I didn't know that. But yeah, they are. And one time I remember I had to replace it, and it was like not even my fault too. Like, I was so pissed because I was casually driving on my way to the beach. And you know, if you're from Long Island, you drive over the iconic Robert Moses Bridge, and you know, there's a lot of air and wind and shit like that. So like on the opposite side of the road, there was a truck coming on the complete opposite side of the road, not even on where I was driving. And I guess a pebble flew against my windshield, and it cracked my whole windshield. Like, it started like a small little scratch, and then it just kept going while I was driving. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? I think it was like also around like $600 to replace, which was just like fucking stupid. Because it wasn't even my fault, you know? I was just like, why should I have to pay for this shit when it's a pebble that flew off of someone else's vehicle? Like, shouldn't they fucking pay for it? Ugh, it was all so stupid. I was so mad. This is why I'm just like, certain things I feel like shouldn't cost that much. You know, like, it's so dumb sometimes. I mean, that's just my opinion, though. You know, like, it's not like I work on cars to know how much something like that is worth for it to really, you know, like, I don't know. So who am I to speak on it? But that's just my personal opinion. Honestly, I just simply hate car problems. They stress me out because I don't know how to go about them, and I never know what to ask for, or, you know. So yeah, that's my thing on it. But thanks for sharing your story and your rant. It was definitely relatable for me. But we are going to move on to the last and final little story of the day. So this one's actually a really literal, like, someone sent in like a line, and it was on TikTok where they sent it. And I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect for my tea droplets episode, because it's literally one sentence that someone sent in like for the podcast. But I was just like, what the fuck when I read it? And I was just like, like, how do we even feel about this? They didn't even respond when I answered questions yet, though. Like, I don't know if they saw any questions or not, but I had so many questions. So it has to do with like some family drama. And this is what sipper number 5 wrote. They said, my half-sister's mom married my sister's ex-girlfriend, so now my sister's ex is her stepmother. What the fuck, dude? Like, when I read that, I was like, oh my God. Like, she's your mommy now. Like, how fucking... If you were someone... Could you imagine, like, your ex is your stepmother now? That's so fucking... What? Also, how fucked up that her mom married her own daughter's ex. Like, what? How is that even okay? Like, Plus, wouldn't the mom always know that they had a thing and, like, probably fucked, you know, in the girl way? Like, wouldn't she know? I just, like, it's so uncomfortable. That's so uncomfy, and now that's her stepmother. Oh, no. Like, it's giving porno. It's giving... it's giving a kind of incest, too, because it's like, come on, like, they... You know, they're exes. Like, your daughter has made out with your now new wife. Like, I don't... It's so fucking weird. ew. But I just was like, this needs to be on the podcast. Because, like, what type of fucking. I had never read something so backwards and so, like, crazy. I was like, what the hell? So, yeah, my thoughts on that is it's crazy. Yeah, don't marry your daughter's ex. Yeah, anyways, I thought that was interesting, and we're gonna close out this episode now. It's getting weird. Yeah, we're gonna close this out right now. So let's start our sound healing session. So sit back, lie down, relax, shut your eyes, take a deep breath in from your nose and out from your mouth, and I'm gonna play. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining today's episode. I always love it when you guys are here. I love it when you guys come back. It makes me feel supported. It makes me feel really good. And I also really appreciate it if you are new here and you made it this far. Thank you so much for giving me the chance and for just listening. And I hope that you come back. I hope you enjoyed everything. And yeah, I am grateful for you all always. And if you haven't checked out my social medias, go follow all of those right now and check out any of my past episodes as well. I think you'll really get a kick out of some of them. But anyways, I love you guys so much, and I hope you guys have the bestest week ever. Goodbye.